Heyo, Omni-Dogs and Omni-Kittens. It's Omni-Dog here with another Throwback Thursday, and this one is going to be about a collector of Coca-Cola products. At the time, he was president, I believe, of the United States, president of all Coke collectors, which is a big job. So he brought a ton of Coca-Cola products with him, including several. I know he brought one Coke machine, full of bottles and everything, and it was great. He was a very nice guy. I believe he was from Baltimore, Maryland. So this was 30 years ago, probably 1993-ish in there. Again, please don't write to any addresses or call any phone numbers. Those are 30 years old and not in use anymore. But this is a glimpse of what I felt like was a fun thing to do back then, was to interview collectors and their collectibles. And this was one of the things that I thought was interesting, was somebody that collected Coke products. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed it. And here we go.
Hi, I'm Jess Bragg. Thanks for tuning in to Collectors Showcase. I'd like to thank all my 10 million fans for tuning in. Speaking of fans, master of the segue, that's what I am. I'd like to thank, first of all, before we get into the show today, I'd like to thank two guys that came up to me in BJ's in Alexandria. They stopped me and said they watch the show all the time. Their names Joe and Mike. They're licensed opticians there at BJ's. And I want to tell you thank you, because I really don't get that much feedback. It's not like Collector Showcases on the Nielsen's. There's not Nielsen's for public access. So Joe Agresto and Mike Amberger, if I'm saying your names right, Agresto, and maybe Mike, if you're from France, it's Amberger, but I think it's Amberger. Thanks for stopping me and saying how much you like the show. And all you people out there, if you need your glasses ground down, go to BJ's, where they've got good opticians. Okay, and my guest today is Bill Combs. He is the president of Coca-Cola Collectors Club, national and international. Is that right?
International organization.
So you're pretty much the big cheese. I've really gone to the top here.
I'm the person people yell at in the club, basically.
Well, I'm not here to yell at you. I'm here to massage your ego, buddy, because
there you go.
You came here with a lot of great stuff. This is one of the most colorful sets I've ever had. And let's talk about Coke stuff.
Sure.
What's the brief history of Coke? First question, of course, is it apocryphal, fact, or fiction? Did there used to be cocaine in Coca-Cola?
I think there used to be slight traces. I mean, Coke has gone out of the way to say there was never any cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Never has been.
Right. It's about the same traces that you'd find in a Hershey bar. Anytime you use cocoa leaves and beans, you're going to get the same type of traces.
Okay.
So that, no, there is no cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Okay, and Hershey's people don't call me about this either. He's denying it for both
That's
Coke
right.
and Hershey.
That's right.
Okay, so it is apocryphal. It's just a legend, urban folklore.
That's it.
Okay, and when was Coke first made popular?
Coke is about 110 years old right now. It was started in 1886 in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was started as a medicine to relieve headache and stomach ache. And you can still go to many pharmacies today and buy Coca-Cola syrup to settle an upset stomach.
Oh, sure,
So
I've seen that.
You can still use it today. And throughout that 110-year history, they've created a lot of products. And we've got
marketing.
a nice selection here. Very good at marketing. And
They're one of the kings.
You can't go in any country of the world and not see Coca-Cola.
It's one of the. Is it not the number one known brand in the world?
Number one known and respected.
And respected.
As well.
Okay, good. Well, let's take a look at some of your stuff.
Okay.
I'm over here. You want to start over here? We've got some beautiful stuff over here.
Okay, this first piece is a counter display, and you would find this at pharmacies and drugstores throughout the late 40s through the early and mid 50s. They usually have different inserts in it. This one's please pay cashier. You'll see them with pay when served or please pay by check. So this was just used as an advertising item at the point of purchase. You can find a lot of different versions of this. This is a pause with the spinning light there. You'll see it with clocks in it.
The pause that refreshes.
Exactly.
When did that become a...
The pause that refreshes was used through the
tagline.
30s and 40s and held right on through the 50s, through the Eddie Fisher show and things like that.
And how, this is from the 40s?
This one's about mid-50s.
Mid-50s?
Itself. Right.
Where did you find this?
I got this from another collector. It seems a lot of the better items now, whenever people see Coca-Cola on an item, they automatically think it's super valuable, and usually collectors are where you end up with your better items.
You're not finding things like this in flea markets and yard sales
You
anymore.
can, but it's a few and far between.
Yeah, I'm finding that with more and more collectibles.
That's right.
People are grabbing up whatever they can.
People find out you collect everything, so they never throw anything away anymore.
And what do you think this is valued at these days?
This one, because of the spinning item in it, this one you see go anywhere from $500 to $800 because of the spinner.
Serious money.
Right. The clocks would go a little bit less because they're more common.
There used to be there's a version with the clock where the pause is.
Right in that spot. Right.
Okay.
And it's a very highly desirable and collectible item. This is a good piece to have in any Coke collection.
Now you, the condition it is in, it looks good. Would you ever consider polishing it up, or do Coke collectors want it just as they found it?
It depends on the collector. I personally, I've had a couple of people offer to polish this up, and you can actually re-chrome and re-brass these, but I actually like it just the way it is.
It's a real period piece.
It certainly is, right. The machines are the same way. Some people like to completely do a machine, but I like them as found.
Well, speaking of machines,
there you go.
You're
Segway.
a master of the
There we go.
Segway now too. Let's check this bad boy out. I can't believe that I had someone bring in something this big into the studio.
Oh.
This is great. Now this is in beautiful shape.
Now this is a V39. It's the model of the machine. And Coke machines, the models, the V means it was made by the Vendo company, and 39 means it holds 39 Cokes. So that's how the model numbers always work.
Is this thing working?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's probably the most popular of all the Coke machines. There were a lot of these around. One in this condition goes from anywhere from $750 to $1,000 normally. You could have it restored, you could have it completely repainted and redone on the inside, and it becomes about an $1,800, $1,900 machine.
Once it's reconditioned
Once
like
it's reconditioned.
that?
Machines are one of the few things that you can take and completely strip down, repaint, and as long as you do it properly, will increase the value.
No, see, this is something that I like it is.
Again, that's the way I like to collect too. Now this one, you put the coin in, move this lever, open the door, and pull your soda right over there.
Icy cold Coca-Cola right
That's
out of
it.
there. We know how old this is because it says insert nickel.
Actually, Cokes were a nickel for a long time. They were nickel right up through the 50s and into the early 60s before it started to go up.
Well, you know, you wouldn't see anybody put it in print now. What
That's
you want
right.
to put in there, they want to be able to jack it up a little bit more.
That's right. You
so
want to be able to change it.
Yeah, it's always changeable.
That's
Well,
right.
I appreciate you bringing
Oh,
this in. This is absolutely
problem.
gorgeous. And it's worth anywhere from
I'd say this
up
one's
to
$750
$1,000?
to $1,000 for this model in this condition.
No, I would have thought it would have been a lot more.
You do see antique stores charge a lot more, and you do see like some of the catalogs come out and charge $4,000 or $5,000 for this same machine. But I'm talking realistically. A lot of people put $3,000 and $4,000 on a machine, hold it forever.
Right.
If you wanted to sell a machine or buy it, that's the real money you should be paying.
And where would I go to find something like that?
You know, it's funny. This machine, you have to realize with a Coke machine, they didn't make one or two Coke machines. They made thousands. So there are a lot of these still out there. There's a lot of barber shops. There's a lot of pharmacies still have these machines sitting around. They're actually coming out of the woodwork now because people are having trouble getting the 6-ounce bottles. So since they can't use them, they're more anxious to sell them now.
Now, didn't Coke reissue 6-ounce bottles?
They're doing. They were for a little while doing 8-ounce bottles,
Oh, 8, and this holds 6 ounce.
which did fit in the machines.
Oh, okay.
But now with the advent of the plastic 20-ounce bottles, it's a lot harder to find.
You've
the
got
8
to
or the
scout
6.
out those 8-ounce
Exactly.
bottles.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about, I'd like to go over here into the
Sure.
corner here. I would love to have this in my basement just because it's so neat looking. This is a syrup and soda dispenser.
This would sit on top of a soda fountain, and this
Talking
is
about this
right,
guy right over
where
here
you
in
would
the
get
corner.
your soda. You put the cup under here and click out your soda just like you do at McDonald's or something today. This one's from about 1963. This is a very unusual example. This is the form plastic is very unusual. It's such a small dispenser, a small head. You're used to much bigger ones. So this is just a really neat little item. And it's about 1963. Whenever you see this fishtail, it's known as, with the drink Coca-Cola with these little fins, that's known as a fishtail.
Going off the sea.
That dates, right, this dates it as the late 50s, early 60s.
So you can actually track the history of Coke trademarks through the
You go by the
writing.
logos. This also says things go better with Coke on the side, and that's 1963 that slogan came out. So the slogans are really good for dating items.
And where'd you find that?
We got that at a collector's convention out in Las Vegas. We were at a convention selling nothing but Coke items, and that's when we found that.
So there are Coke conventions.
That's right, and we're bringing roughly 2,000 people into Virginia this year.
And we will be talking about that towards the end of the show. I've got a graphic. It's going to be in Reston, right?
In Reston, Virginia, right at Reston Town Center at the Hyatt.
We'll talk about that near the end of the show. How many of you are there in the Coke
there's
Club?
over 7,500. It's constantly changing. We've been as high as 8,000, but we hover right around 7,500. And it is international, worldwide. Almost every country in the world, we have Coke collectors there and members of the club.
Well, Coke's pretty much everywhere in the world
Yes,
anyway.
yes, it is. And some of the overseas collectibles are becoming pretty desirable as well.
All the different flavors that are available.
Different flavors, different sodas.
Different cultural flavors
and
they've got.
People like to see Coca-Cola written in different languages. It's kind of neat to have an odd Coke bottle or can.
Yeah, in Arabic or something.
That's right. Exactly.
Are they allowed to drink that in Saudi Arabia?
They are now. I think they have it in Saudi Arabia now. A couple countries didn't have it for a while. A lot of customs didn't allow Coca-Cola in. But I think it's pretty much opened up to the world now.
What else is interesting over here?
Okay, the car sitting
I mean,
on the corner.
everything's interesting here, but what would you like to talk about here?
Well, just quickly, the car sitting on the corner is one of our convention pieces, a piece made for the club and club only. You had to be a member to get that piece.
So only Coke Club members can get this car?
Right. That club, that was used at our Dearborn convention. Since we were in Dearborn with cars, we made a little car for it. When we're in Reston, we'll be close to D.C., so we'll try to stick with things with a kind of a political or all-American flavor for Reston.
Now, we've also got some Coke only, these three things right here.
Well, just the truck here.
The truck?
The small truck was also done at the Dearborn convention.
Oh, okay.
And that's for our 19th annual convention in Dearborn. Now, that's known as a Winross truck, is the maker.
Winross.
Winross. And they are very desirable trucks.
Right here.
Very desirable trucks and very collectible. There's actually a Winross Collectors Club.
So you've got competition for something like that?
Oh, we sure do. We sold this truck at our convention, and we made 650 of these trucks.
Oh, there's only 650 of them? Now, that is rare, then.
And anything at our conventions are very limited. Even that red car on the corner was only about 1,000 of those made, so they're very limited.
Can you ballpark that truck for me?
We sold it for $45 at the convention. Now it goes anywhere $200 to $350.
I'm betting that somebody that has that wouldn't really want to let it go.
That's
because
right.
it's so rare.
And they know what it's worth. As soon as they have it, they want to keep it.
And this, let's see, this
No,
radio
no, that's
here.
a regular 60s radio. That's not a club piece.
Oh, it's not a club piece.
But this bottle next to it is a Pete Rose bottle done for our convention in 1987.
Let me see if here it is.
Again, this is a very crossover collectible because the sports collectors want them, the bottle collectors want them, as well as the Coca-Cola collectors. Now, this bottle came out, it was actually a free gift for registering for the convention. And that hovers right around $100, $125 right now for that bottle.
I don't know how to figure out the percentage increase from free, but I would guess $100, that's pretty big.
Pretty darn good, that's right.
And now, I like this, I just like radios, so what's going on?
And that's a plastic vending machine radio. Coke has done many radios throughout the years. Starting in the early 30s, they were doing radios. This is one, again, with the Things Go Better Coke logo on the side of it. That's from 1963 that was done.
So this would be a transistor radio?
Yes, it is transistor radio.
So these are collectible radio. You got transistor radio collectors coming after you.
That's the big thing with Coca-Cola is they cover a lot of different lines. That, of course, are radio collectors. Anything Olympic with Coca-Cola hits the Olympic collectors. We have phone cards with the phone card collectors. You name it, Coke crosses the line.
Well, we've got some of that stuff over
do.
there that we're going to be looking at. Okay, what's going on here? We got multiple bottles here.
Well, a lot of people call and say they have an old bottle. And usually when I get a phone call about a bottle, it's a bottle like this, which is a clear 6.5 ounce bottle, done during as early as 1915, right up through the 50s and early 60s.
How do you tell how old a bottle is?
The bottles actually have marked on the bottles. This one, I think, says it was made in 1923.
Yeah, 1923.
Days they were registered. This is registered on December 25th. This is known as the Christmas bottle because that's when it was trademarked.
Is this a highly sought-after item?
It's funny. Bottle collectors don't collect the bottles for the bottom cities on the bottom or anything like that anymore. They'd like to get one or two real nice examples or try to get every city. Very few people do that. But this is not really that desirable. These things go anywhere from $5 to $15, depending on condition and the city on the bottom.
So people are probably disappointed when they call thinking they've got a $300 bottle.
Now,
really
when they want to talk about an old bottle, this is what most collectors consider an old bottle. This is a amber bottle, amber straight-sided bottle. This particular one's from Toledo, Ohio. It's a pretty interesting bottle in itself. This is done anywhere between 1905 to 1920. This is when Coke collectors look for an old bottle. This is what they're looking for. And this is also the type of condition they're looking for as well. They don't want any cracks in it. They don't want marks where it was dug up or buried. This is the kind of bottle they're looking for.
And where would you find that, you think?
There are bottle shows all over the country. People just collect bottles.
Bottles, okay.
And that's where actually we came up with this one.
At a bottle show?
At a bottle show. This, because of the unusual diamond logo on the front of it, is about a $100 bottle. You're talking a real decent Coke bottle here.
That's serious money for a bottle.
It sure is. And then in between this bottle and what is the standard known as the hobble skirt bottle, a lot of the individual bottlers went with a clear straight-sided bottle.
Now, you mentioned individual bottlers. That means that a lot of stuff can be regional, too.
Yes, it can.
What do? Ship the syrup to the bottlers?
Exactly.
And they bottle it, and they can
bottle
do what they want?
do what they want. Up until like the 1915, 1920, when Coke tried to standardize things. But it's still that way. In this area, we don't have the 8-ounce bottles. We don't have the 6.5-ounce bottles. But many areas still do produce those bottles, but you just don't see them around here.
Okay. I'm dying of thirst now.
This will do it.
It's making me really thirsty.
This is just a neat sign, the next piece. This is a twirly gig, a whirly gig, known as. This would sit on top of a machine or sit outside and actually catch the wind.
Oh, okay.
And it shows the drink Coca-Cola and the different slogans in each different color. And this is real popular because it's kind of a whimsical collectible, and people really do like the little odd things, the fun things. So that's real popular.
And how much do you think that might go for?
This is really funny because this is one of those items that 5, 6 years ago you could pick up for $100 or less, and this item right now is $300, $400, $500.
Oh, I thought you were, for some reason I thought you were going to tell me it's affordable, like a $15 collectible.
Unfortunately, that's what we thought when we first started collecting. This is a piece we saw at a museum and we really wanted, and then we tried to find one. Very tough to find.
And you said museum. Now there's a Coke museum. There are a couple of Coke
museums. Yes, there are a couple
right?
of Coke museums. Right now they have the World of Coke in Atlanta, and that is a huge museum dedicated to Coke. And basically you'll see all of these items plus many, many more in the museum. They also have a tasting area where you can taste Coke throughout the world, all the different flavors. They have a shop where you can buy Coca-Cola memorabilia in the bottom of the store.
Now my understanding is that Coke is not made with sugar anymore, right? It's made with Karo syrup, or not Karo syrup?
I'm not sure. High fructose corn syrup.
But in Japan, it's still made with sugar.
Still made with sugar, right?
So you might actually be able to tell the difference.
That's right. There are actually 1 or 2 parts of the country here where you can still buy Coke made with sugar.
Oh, really?
Right.
In
They're
America?
still under old contracts where they're still doing it with sugar.
I'd like to be able to see if I could tell the difference between the two.
I did a taste test once, and I
couldn't tell.
You're
the Dalai Lama.
There were people who said they could tell. I sure couldn't tell the difference.
You couldn't tell. Okay, well that's good. You know your Coke.
Now the next items on the card here are all Washington Redskin items. This is what we get the biggest calls about in this area because people look at the Washington Post the day after the Super Bowl and they see Redskin bottles for $100 a bottle. Realistically, the last of the bottles, which is this bottle, goes for about $20. This bottle, which was actually earlier, this is 1983, this bottle goes for about $5 to $10 a bottle. But actually, when this sold for 50 cents or $1, that's a pretty good return on your investment.
And what about this guy encased in lucite?
The cans are so common, the cans themselves, that they are pretty much worth nothing.
The
Super Bowl cans. But the lucite's what made this one, right, the lucite's what makes this one worth about $50. Because this is something that was done for Coke employees.
Oh.
And there were millions of these cans out, but not many done in the lucite. So that's a much more desirable piece that way.
What do we have right in front of us here? This is a cooler?
That's a cooler. It's made by the Glasscock Company. And this is done in the late 20s, early 30s. This is a mini Glasscock. It holds very few bottles in there. You'd find that outside a gas station, maybe.
Full of ice and Cokes.
Full of ice and Cokes, right. And that was, at that time, the only way to store Cokes. And Coke was the first company to come out with the coolers that way.
This is like subliminal advertising. After this, I'm going to run to the Coke machine.
And you'll be surprised.
I'm thinking of those icy Cokes.
After you see this, you'll notice Coke memorabilia everywhere. People don't realize just the enormity of Coke collecting. Everybody has something Coke in their home. People will come to our house and say, you know, I didn't believe I ever had it. And they go home, they find signs, they find trays.
Yeah, I told you that I have that sign my sister sent me. It's a big Coke clock that she sent me from a market that went out of business.
And that happens all the time. People have collected Coke all along.
It's everywhere.
That's right.
How about this little guy here?
Now that little guy is probably, I'm looking around, probably the most valuable item here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, this is a salesman's sample of a Coke machine. Instead of having to lug a machine like this or a machine like you see there from store to store, the salesman would actually pick this unit up and take it to the dealer and show it to him. Now this is from 1939.
It's like a chest machine.
Exactly.
Did they coexist with standing up ones, or were these the first?
This was the first. This was this and smaller. This was actually the very first, and this was the next in the line were machines like this.
And it's got
right, it has a little ad in it and shows you how you can make so much money using these coolers and shows the different versions of coolers that are available. And this is a salesman's sample, and these were very limited.
And so what would this go for?
This I've seen sell anywhere between $1,800 and $2,500.
Wow.
In this type of condition. This is in very good shape.
Yeah, this
It's
looks
all there.
pristine. Where did you find this one?
I picked this up again from another collector. There are two versions of this. One is the closed front version, and one is the open front version. And it's just a different front unit on the machine itself.
Okay, and what else is going on here?
Okay, as we work our way down, we talked about phone cards.
Right.
And this is a phone card, a new phone card put out by the Coca-Cola company. And I'll open this up. This is Coca-Cola around the world. And inside are 3 different phone cards.
See if we can get a good
Okay.
shot of that right
There
here.
we go, okay.
Whoops. We'll keep it right
Okay.
here.
Now, phone cards are one of the hottest items in collecting right now. I understand you had a phone card collector
I did.
on already. And Coca-Cola has done roughly 10 or 15 authorized phone cards. And this is one of the latest in their sets. And again, these things go through the roof. They come out, they do about 2,500, and they sell out of them in the first couple weeks they're out.
Boom, they're right up in the
And
stratosphere.
then they're already right on the resale market right away. Something like this sells for about $60 right now.
That display with the cards in
Right,
it?
but it's sure to go up. Something this is a sure, good bet as a
That's
good
something
collectible.
people can look for now if they're interested
Exactly.
in getting in.
Get on the ground floor of these.
Let's look at my favorite thing. You played this, and I wanted to buy it myself right away.
Right, this is a machine bank, and I'll open it up here.
Let's see if we can hear it.
First of
I'll
all-
stick my microphone.
Okay, plays the Real Thing Coke theme.
Okay.
And you see little bottles move around a little bit on the inside. And it is a regular bank, you can put your money in. But when you
Okay.
put your money in,
I have a penny right here.
it's just like you open a Coke. You get to hear it open.
Let's see if we can do it and hear
Okay.
the sound effect. Well, I don't know if you picked that up or not, but I heard it, so I know it works.
Now, this is available at a lot of stores locally. You can find
This
this
is just like a fun item
Yeah,
you
I
can
think
buy.
Spencer's Gift sells these. A lot of different music box stores sell these. It's a real popular little new piece. And with new pieces, too, they're coming up with a lot of items like this. And this is a salt and pepper shaker.
Oh, and I bet you have competition. There are people out there that collect salt and pepper
You got it.
shakers.
That's exactly it. And these are made...
Anybody that's an X-Files fan knows that Mulder recently made fun of salt and pepper shaker collectors.
And,
so.
and there are a lot of them out there. But this is shaped after a Coke machine, known as a V44, one of the more expensive Coke machines out there. Again, a nice new item that this thing goes for about $10, $15 anyone could afford to have.
So another
start a Coke collection.
Another crucial tip here in Collector Showcase, go out and get these salt shakers.
That's right.
Well, while we're over here, let's take a look at Santa, because
Okay.
Santa and Coke, you're telling me, are
Yeah, they're almost one
Goombas.
in the
They're
same.
one and the same now.
And the
There's
late...
this picture over here you want to take a
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
that's down below?
Down on the first one on the corner.
We want to take a look at this picture.
That's a cardboard sign from about 1957. What happened was Coca-Cola was going for a look for their ads for the National Geographic magazine. So they had asked Hayden Sundblom to draw an image of Santa Claus for
He was a
their ads.
popular artist at
Very
that
popular
time?
artist at the time. And he drew Santa Claus using the Night Before Christmas story, using a description in that story, and he drew the first Coca-Cola Santa. Well, that Coca-Cola Santa has lived to the point where now it is what's recognized universally as America's Santa Claus. So whenever Christmas time runs around, you will see items with Santa on it. We've brought that sign, and above the sign is a stuffed Santa Claus holding a Coke bottle.
Okay.
They've done about 20 or 30 different Santas through the years.
I didn't know that they popularized that image of
That's
Santa.
right. Santa pretty much belongs to Coca-Cola.
They have their tentacles everywhere.
They do, but they've done a good job at it. They did a good job, and they got everybody used to seeing Santa that way, so that's how they can do it.
Yeah.
They're very smart at marketing. They know what they're doing.
And now also, I guess a lot of people think about polar bears, and they think about
That's exactly it. You
About,
can't see a polar bear without looking for a Coke bottle on
That's
its sign
right.
right now.
And while we're over here, we can take, well, actually, I'd like to hold this guy up, because
Sure.
I remember growing up with these kind of cans, although this is one of the first cans.
That's right. One of the first Coke to be bottled in cans was like this. Coke started bottling in cans, and
You can see the church keyholes
that's
right
right.
there.
And it's the big diamond logo in the front with the Coke in front of it. Later, they came out with a Coke can that had the Coca-Cola logo in the front and a bottle behind the logo. And then later came out with a Harlequin can with many diamonds shaped on the front.
So this is, what were these made out of? Tin?
That's tin, tin can.
And that's back when everybody had to carry a church key with
That's
them
it,
to picnic.
that's it. And there's a lot of can collectors. There are people who just collect cans, collect beer cans.
Here's the
Coke cans,
Harlequin
right.
thing you were talking
And
about.
This hit about 1961, 62. You started seeing these cans out. And also
okay.
it was a big deal that they came out with the flip top. You could open it up from the
Right.
tab. That was a big new invention.
Well, hard as it is to believe, we've only got 3 minutes left.
Okay.
So I want to talk about the tip trays, but quickly we need to talk about the convention.
Sure.
Why don't you tell me about the convention?
The convention will be, as I said, at Reston Town Center at the Hyatt Hotel, July 10th through 13th. The public is invited on the 13th for a swap meet with over 300 tables, and admission is free at 11 a.m.
And that's 1996, so if you're seeing this in the future, at some point in the future, I don't know what the future's like, but if you're seeing a rerun, you missed it.
You missed a great convention. We had a great time. It was wonderful.
We had a blast. I even went, and it was a lot of fun.
That's right.
And why don't you give your phone number in case people want to just call you and find out more about Coke stuff, if they want to find out more about the convention, maybe.
No problem. I'm at area code 410-744-0816.
And that is
That's in Baltimore, right.
Why don't I'm going to hold up a tip tray while you're going off camera to get your collecting magazine, because I'd like to talk about those real quick. What's going on with these tip trays? You said that these...
Well, that's an original tip tray from 1914, known as a Betty tip tray, and also a reproduction tray. Now, holding them next to each other, you can tell pretty easily that this tray is the real tray.
This is the real thing?
Right, and this is a reproduction. That's it for Coke.
This is not.
This is not. But if you were at a flea market or yard sale and just saw that sitting by itself, you may wonder. One of the best ways to tell about Coca collectibles is early items will have in the tail of the C of Coca-Cola, the first letter C, it will say trademark registered inside the tail, where on this tray, the reproduction says trademark registered underneath the word Coca-Cola. That's one of the biggest hints for Coca-Cola collectors to watch out for.
Okay, so there is a problem with reproduction.
Oh, there is. There's a lot of reproductions. With so much money out there and so many people collecting, everybody wants all the items.
Okay, let me just say quickly that if you want to write me to appear on the show, or you are also a fan out there and you can't track me down at BJ's, you can write me at Box 138, Mount Vernon, Virginia, 22121, or if you want to call me and get on the show, you can call me here at the station, 573-1090. And I bet we have about a minute left.
Okay.
You can talk about your magazine quickly.
Just quickly, this is the Coca-Cola Collectors News. This comes as being a member of the Coca-Cola Collectors Club. You get this monthly, and you're able to come to conventions like we're having this year.
And get all those special collectibles.
That's right, a valuable asset.
And the magazine that I'm holding...
That's White's Guide to Collecting Figurines.
You write a column.
I'm now writing a monthly column.
Now
let me tell you, I'm an author now. I'm working on my novel.
I can say I knew you when.
That's right.
Okay, well, good. This has been great. I appreciate your coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
This has been really interesting and enlightening. And I'd like to say in closing what I say every week. Remember, moms out there, don't throw it away. It might be valuable.